Hello everybody, my name is Chase here, and you ever notice that if you stick a fork in your neck, you become a lot paler? Asking for a friend, of course, but WebMD isn't helping too much on a remedy. Luckily, I do have my prescription from my doctor. Pfft, you don't have to tell me twice.
You ever wonder what it feels like to stub your toe repeatedly on purpose? Well, now you don't have to! The V.Flash Home Entertainment System. Oh, I'm sorry, Edutainment System. Is that even a word? Oh, well, I'll be damned. This is the successor to the VTech V.Smile, because I'm sure in 2004 we were all saying...
Okay, but like, when's the next one?
Now, I already did a video on the V.Smile, but for those of you who missed it, this thing is an educational video game console all about teaching kids about ABCs and math through their favorite properties like SpongeBob or Blue's Clues. And we all know how that went. But something that these all had in common is that they were all sprite-based 2D games, as the V.Smile in terms of power was on par with the Super Nintendo. But the V.Flash would be VTech's foray into 3D educational gaming. But from what I can tell, not a successful one. While not being incredibly popular, the V.Smile sold decently well, or at least enough to give the thing a large shelf life. It was released in 2004 and wasn't discontinued until 2011. On the other hand, the V.Flash was a complete commercial failure, and only 11 games were made for the system, with one of them going completely unreleased. That might have had something to do with the fact that this is an educational video game machine on the same level of power as the PlayStation 1 and was released in 2006. Gears of War was released the same year as this. It would be quickly discontinued in 2007 to the surprise of nobody. In terms of looks, definitely not as loud as his older brother. You can tell they were aiming for a slightly higher age demographic by ditching the bright orange, using a darker purple, and just using a simpler design. In fact, if you look at it from afar and squint your eyes, you can almost mistake it for a VCR or a DVD player. I still don't really get this naming convention though. With the V.Smile, I get it. It's supposed to make you smile. What's this thing supposed to do? Flash me?
Put that thing away!
Now, there were actually a lot of improvements made from the V.Smile. For instance, the controller. Now, look at that. Now, that's what I call a controller. I don't even know what this thing was trying to be. The buttons are in the right place. It has triggers now. I like the shape, and the analog stick actually feels pretty damn good. It's like it came right off an Xbox 360 controller. Although, spoiling this now, no games actually support analog movement, which is still stupid. At that point, just use a D-pad. Also, while I like the placement of the buttons, they still feel a little wonky. They're missing that satisfying click that they should have, but it's alright. I'll definitely take it over the hand cramping. Now, I was initially a little disappointed that there wouldn't be an option to make it a left-handed controller like you could with the V.Smile, but then I found out you actually can. Albeit not as seamless, and it flips the face buttons upside down, but it's still there and very accommodating. This is a genuinely really cool feature that I think more game controllers should have, but for some reason don't. Alright, now for the actual games. The original V.Smile used purple cartridges, which I found out that VTech actually referred to as smartridges.
Purple.
The V.Flash uses discs, but they come in these plastic casings, I'm guessing to prevent them from getting scratched as you insert the entire thing into the console to play them. But I don't know how well that actually works considering that they're not very secure in there, they kind of bounce around as you handle them. Considering the incredibly small library, I was only able to get my hands on a couple of games for this video, so let's start with the only non-licensed game for the system, which is Wacky Race on Jumpin Island.
Just rolls right off the tongue.
The game begins with a beautiful FMV, and by beautiful, I mean they're horribly cropped so the console can handle them, and the music and sound effects are way too loud to hear what's actually going on. And I'm no animation major, but I don't think that lip syncing is very accurate either.
Oh well, unless they know the world as well as me.
So as the mayor explains, we're on Jumpin Island to compete in a game show about kidnapping the island's residents known as Jumpin Beans to win... something. I guess this trophy, but considering what I'm about to play, it's not enough. The game is about collecting Jumpin Beans. Well, sort of. They really only count towards your score at the end of the level, so the only true goal is to get to the end, which is simple enough, though I wouldn't exactly call this a race like the title implies. Sure, there's a timer, but that doesn't automatically make it a racing game. That would be incredibly stupid, and they give you an excessive amount of time. I'm not exactly cutting it down to the wire over here, but God, this movement is so slow and stiff. It's like this kid is always moving in slow motion. The only way to get a move on is to keep jumping all over the place, which for some reason is mapped to the green button and not the blue one like you would expect. No, that would just make too much sense. Instead, the blue one is for collecting Jumpin beans, because every single time that you want to collect one of these Jumpin bastards, you have to get close enough and push the blue button to pick it up, which pretty much removes any sort of fun the action would have had otherwise. Half the time, I don't even bother, and I just ignore them, because they waste time more than anything. Also, like I said before, because no game on this system actually supports analog movement, you're locked to 8 directions, which shouldn't be a big deal, but it causes these awkward situations when the camera perspective switches. Look at this. This is me attempting to move in a straight line. I'm a little crooked over here, guys. There's also some pretty annoying visibility issues, as in I can't see the fucking enemies in front of me before they knock my shit in. You got these weird looking dogs and cats, chattering teeth, water spurts that barely touch me, and these fucking pinwheels that always hit me before I have time to react. It's infuriating. Luckily, you can't really die. Instead, you just lose Jumpin beans, which I would probably be more upset about if they were actually fun to collect. You know, I think the best way I can describe Jumpin Bean Island is really terrible Crash Bandicoot. You wander down some hallways with a fixed camera, maybe jump over some stuff here or there while you collect beans. It's even got an animal chase sequence that lasts for like 2 seconds. They do occasionally try to switch up the gameplay, like introducing me to my age-old enemy, math.
Those sons of bitches.
But we also have target shooting, which I swear is fucking broken. I hit this target like 6 times and nothing happened. There's also this game about finishing a string of shape patterns, flying through trees, which is incredibly finicky, answering questions about animals or locating continents on the map.
Oceania.
Oceania? You mean fucking Australia? The fuck is Oceania? Oh, god damn it. I mean, this game is pretty much what I expected from this console. Didn't really throw me any curveballs in terms of shittiness, but it's still pretty ass. The only thing that really got on my nerves is how long some of these levels are. They can take up to 15 to 20 minutes to complete. It's probably why they give you so much time on the timer. VTech sure loves their repetition, and Jumpin Bean Island is most certainly no exception. I feel like this game would have been a lot more tolerable if the stages were just a lot shorter. But overall, I'll go easy this time.
But hell, I can't just look at one game for this system. I like torture. So let's try out Bratz, the secret necklace. To be honest, I don't really know anything about Bratz other than they're not Barbie. But that just means that I'm not biased. So I have to like this one, right? Right?
So the plot involves one of the brats named Jade having a magical necklace that she was wearing to model. Where she got the necklace, what kind of magic can it do, why is there a magic in a game about Bratz dolls, who the fuck are any of these characters in the first place? Who knows? I'm still trying to pick out an outfit. But while Jade is modeling the necklace, it is stolen from her by a dark pixie, so it's up to Jade and her friends to travel through the pixie realm and get the necklace back. So in the first level, we must gather suspects. You're dropped in a big area and must search for a girl who matches the description of what was texted to you. I want you to look at the screen right now. Does this look fun to you? Of course not, you're a human being. The game runs at like 10 frames per second. The FMVs have more frames of animation than the actual game. You also just move so slowly. Jumpin Bean Island might as well be fucking Sonic the Hedgehog compared to this. She kind of breaks into a sort of jog when you keep moving, but it's only slightly faster than walking and takes way too long to get going. It just takes forever to go anywhere, and it's mixed with these minute-long load screens in between areas, and considering this level is about looking for people, get used to looking at this screen. These arrows that are supposed to help you figure out where to go are not helpful either. This one kept telling me to go down this empty alley when the way I was actually supposed to go was in the complete opposite direction. Yeah, thanks for that, asshole. Even when you do find these girls, you're not even asking them any questions. You just jump up and down and move on to the next girl. I thought we were looking for the necklace.
Alright, son. I just have a couple of questions for you and I'll have you right on your way.
Am I in trouble?
As long as you have nothing to hide. Yes! Oh, yes! Oh, yeah! Oh, fuck yeah! Oh, that was a good one! Oh, fuck yeah!
The fuck?
But after that, we move on to level 2, where we enter the Pixie Kingdom. I wonder how we'll search for the necklace here. Nope, we're collecting letters to complete a word on top of flowers.
This is a weird investigation.
This is also where we gain the ability to fly, and god, these flying controls suck! There is so much input delay, and it takes forever to turn around. It's like if the wing cap had arthritis. Who decided to give the flying tank controls? Are you allergic to fun? And the draw distance sucks too. You have to get really close to some of these letters to actually see what letter they are, which wastes a lot of time when you realize it's not the one you need. I spent way too much time flying around trying to find the correct letters. You know, these are some pretty big words for kids to have to fill in. I don't know any 6-year-old who can actually spell daffodil or hibiscus. I just fucked it up typing them now. Oh, but don't worry. If you want to take a gander at shit that kids are probably not going to figure out, well, welcome to level 3. Let me try to explain this. So you have to spin the wheel to match the orbs of the same color in the lines that they create, but those orbs still count towards matching the lines, but those gem ones don't, even though they look really similar. And you also have to make sure that those lines include the letters that are in some of the orbs, but make sure that they're also the correct letters that you need to fill in the word at the bottom.
Did you get all that?
Why is this so fucking complicated? It's like I'm trying to play Candy Crush, Tetris, and Wordle all at the same time. And the explanation really doesn't help either.
Try to line up 4 beads of the same color to collect them. Use the beads with letters on them to spell the name of a flower.
Now the next stage is actually kind of fun. You have this table that you tilt around with the analog stick to try to guide the ball into the goal. It kind of reminds me of those shrine puzzles from Breath of the Wild. It's actually kind of fun. It's like a simple mobile game. It takes a decent amount of skill without being frustrating and is easy to understand. I actually enjoyed this level. Too bad it only lasts for like 2 rounds and you finish it in like a minute. There should have been way more of these. I could have actually played a whole game of just this. If they actually expanded on this and made more stages with different mechanics, this could have been so much fun, but unfortunately, it's not what we have here. And they couldn't have done that. They had to make way for level 4, or as I like to call it, the worst level in the game. It's basically a 2D platformer where you collect gems and find pieces of the necklace, and it's awful. You move left and right and jump, but you can only jump straight up. Pretty much meaning that the only thing that you can do is move slowly to the right, and that's about it. Like, that's gotta be one of the most basic things to fuck up, isn't it? All the fun of a platformer comes from being able to gather enough momentum to jump across and avoid obstacles, but that's just not the case here at all. It's also because of this that there's no way to avoid getting hit by enemies because you can't jump over them. You're basically forced to take a hit. It's weird because the gems are even set up like you should be able to collect them with one jump, but it's so awkward. I just don't know why it's like this. Alphabet Park Adventure got this right. What's your excuse? Luckily, the last level isn't that bad. It's a basic rhythm game, and while I definitely should have hit some of these notes that I missed for some reason that only God knows, I am glad they didn't go the route of those stupid arrows that other rhythm games have. Those things will never not be confusing to me. Well, after you break the spell on the necklace or whatever, the pixie sends the girls home, and the game just anticlimactically ends, of course. No credits, no fanfare, zilch. But unfortunately, this is where our journey is going to have to end for now. I would talk about this Cars game, but unfortunately, I have a very serious fear of Owen Wilson. Also, the thing doesn't even fit in the console for some reason, so oops. Overall, while the V.Flash is in a lot of ways a definite improvement over its predecessor, I can definitely see why it failed. To be honest, I think the only reason that anybody bought these things in the first place was because they were cheap. It's almost like they were a way to parents to stick it to their kids who kept bothering them for an Xbox.
Oh, you want a video game console, you little shit? Joke's on you, have fun learning. But you know what? I'm done. I'm done talking about VTech games. Please.